So today I'm doing a simple job, well, ish, on the Spider, which is removing the exhaust and then obviously the manifold to make way for the Orbisoud whenever the Frenchman responds to me. On the Spider, it's pretty bloody simple, really. Obviously there is the exit for the EGR feed, which is obviously now just a hole. I've already taken liberty, so this is an aftermarket exhaust system and it's an absolute piece of shit, whoever made this. I think it was Scorpion, apparently. And I mean, the welds and stuff don't look so bad, but what a terrible, terrible system. It's like cookie cutter, no thought gone into it. You know, nothing done for performance or anything, just, yeah, stick a box on, stick some pipes together and that's it. I mean, I couldn't do it, let's be honest, but, you know, for someone that does exhaust for a living, it doesn't seem very well done. It's like the McDonald's of exhausts. Anyway, there's a decap pipe, which is hilarious, just 4 bolts. Remove those and then the entire system. Rapidly running out of space, so I'll have to be quick. Decat off, exhaust now very loose, and it's just a case of popping it out of here, popping it out of here, dropping it down from underneath the car, then you can get to the manifold. Okay, so exhaust is now off. Just jack the car up at one side and pop that thing off. I'm going to be getting rid of these, which were fucked anyway, so I cable tied them because it had split. Get rid of these, get rid of that because it's not needed anymore, saves weight, and get rid of this bar as well eventually because the Orbisoud hangs off the bottom, not the top. So next things next is the connecting pipe off the manifold and then the manifold. Okay. So yesterday, got the exhaust off and got the downpipe off. So I've just got the manifold to do now. There's the exhaust on the floor. I think the best technique is to start with the back box. Obviously the stock system is different. I don't know how complex that would be, but start with the back box, and for me that was undoing the cat first, so the back box is then free. On mine it's just 4 bolts for the cat, 2 back box. Obviously I'd already taken out the lambda sensor, which is over here, and that is a 22mm spanner and it's fucking hard work. The spanner I used for it is one of these from Biltema with the swiveling head, and that made really short work of it, but I tried with all kinds of other spanners and it really didn't want to budge. So then the down pipe to the manifold, see here with the gasket, is just 4 bolts and they were 13mm bolts. They were quite hard work, but if you stick some WD-40 on them, they came free fairly easily. And I think there's 1 15mm at the back. So you've got 1, 2, 3, I don't know if you can see, around the back. There's 5 in total. There you can see the last 2. So that's that. So then on the manifold itself, I've already soaked these. We've got 9, is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 or 9. And this bracket here is going to have to come off, so I can get to that last one. Hopefully that's not too complicated. So I will go and do that. Tiny update. So bolts are coming out. What you'll, whoop, nearly fell over. It's all 10mm, but what you'll find, as I have found, is that some of the studs from the head will come out with the nuts because they're seized, and some will obviously come out just on their own. So I will replace the studs anyway, so when the manifold's off, it's a case of just getting those studs out, unscrewing them, which should be not too difficult a job. But for me, on my car, so this bracket here is held in with two 10mm screws, 10mm bolts, sorry, there and there. But on my car, wonderful thing when you kind of start fiddling with cars, these two nuts on top here, they weren't tight. So I undid the bottom two, and then when it came to these top two, they're not even screwed in. So I'm assuming somebody's had this off at some point doing something to the car, and then, you know, just found it a bit difficult to get a spanner on or something, and just decided that, yeah, they'll just get held in place, it'll be fine. So yeah, just have to remove them and I can get to the last nut. So with the last nut out there, it should just be a case of pulling it off. So then onto the bishop. There you go. Just need to give this a clean up. Get rid of rust and shit on there and mess, and then we'll be ready for the next system. I'll just undo the rest of the bits that aren't needed now, and then that will be this part of the job. I've just realised something that people probably already know, who know more about this than me, that this sort of heat shield here, or like oil guard or whatever it is, if you take that off, there's no gasket on the manifold directly. So the manifold bolts directly to this, which is just held in with three Torx bolts. So pull that off, and then that's going to get you through to a much cleaner surface there, and that there is your gasket. Which is pressed in. It's got some little studs on it holding it on at the back. So that's that. So I will need to remove that from there, clean this thing up thoroughly, and just take out these four studs, and obviously give this a clean because it's really mucky. Okay, so that's all that off, and the side exhaust mount off. You don't need that, it's not holding the engine in place or anything. A good tip would be to check these here, that kind of for the vibration of the engine, I think. This side too, according to the manual there, 30 Newton meters, and on my car both of them were loose. So I think after 20 odd years of driving, I think, you know, some things obviously are working loose, and why a manufacturer doesn't use nylock nuts, I have no idea, but I've replaced this nut with a nylock here. This side I haven't replaced, and I haven't pulled this side out at all because I didn't want to sort of muck about with it too much. But yes, here we have all the bits. So there we've got the sort of heat shield They've got the manifold, they've got the top exhaust hanging bracket that just gives it a bit of stabilisation on the back of the engine, and there's the arm for the exhaust hanger. Hopefully you've got the manuals that come with the car, because they tell you all the torque settings for everything. It's fantastic. So I think for now, apart from cleaning up, I might just show the finished result, but I'm not going to things like this bracket here that's near the that's onto the block. I'm not going to sort of remove that yet, because I'm not sure how it's going to fit with the Orbisoud. You've got this here as well, which you may be able to sort of remove that, because it's added weight. Because if you don't need this on here, then obviously that's going to save you more weight as well again. So we will see what we end up needing or not needing. Just thought I'd show a little tip for how to remove studs from a manifold, or anything for that matter. These studs, as you can see, have nothing on the end here that you can basically get a torque wrench over, Torx socket over, or Allen key in, or anything like that. So it's like, how the fuck do you get them out of the head? So the trick is, you basically get, obviously you use a bit of WD-40 or something like that, like penetrating fluid, but you put 2 nuts on to the thread as far as you can get it, and then you basically tighten the nuts using 2 spanners. I've already tightened this one on, so clockwise, and your new one counterclockwise, and tighten them up as much as you can within reason, so that there's a solid, they basically, you know, will kind of stop each other from you know, undoing. And then on the inner nut that you fitted, basically then just undo, and you can use the exact same technique for retightening. If you need to torque the studs up, you can use the exact same technique for tightening them onto the manifold, or whatever, manifold, doing well today, onto the head. So I will continue doing that now for the rest of them, but it's pretty straightforward from here on in. As you can see, it's a little bit time consuming, especially when space isn't so great, like it isn't on this car for a lot of jobs. Actually show you that it does work and come out, rather than just go, yeah, it works. There you go.